The two-day rally is hosted by the friendly cities of Port Elizabeth and Uitenhage in the beautiful Eastern Cape. The region has a proud association with the motor industry and is home to sponsor Volkswagen, General Motors, a Ford facility and numerous tyre and component suppliers. The Volkswagen Rally consisted of 5 tar and 12 gravel stages. Day 1 had 8 of the stages from Uitenhage to the daunting fire-ravaged Longmore Forest. 2 old crowd favourites were on the route, a blast through surface paradise Jeffreys Bay and the popular Kings Beach seafront stage. Saturday was largely based in the Longmore Forest with 2 new stages and finished with another crowd pleaser at Kings Beach. Port Elizabeth is South Africa's 5th largest port city and was founded in 1820 by the British settlers. The port is an enclosed water area of 1,5 square kilometres. The main exports consists of mohair, wool, citrus, mineral ore and of course cars. 20 kilometres away in Volkswagen's hometown of Uitenhage, a smaller than usual entry of 42 teams lined up for the 543-kilometre event.
It's a tradition, and we need the combination, and we love the combination of being involved in motorsport on the technical side, which also gives us some technical challenges for our business. And we have been very successful, and I'm very proud that we are now here, 2006, Volkswagen Rally in front of our gate, and yeah, we're looking forward to win again.
Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson opened their season with a win in the rain-soaked Hitachi Tour Natal and followed that up with another scalp on the Toyota Dealer Rally in the Western Cape. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd came to light on the Sasol Rally in April, while everyone got their butts kicked by Alistair McRae on the Zulu Rally. Enzo Keen claimed the top SA Championship points though, giving him 3 wins from 4 outings. Serge Damso and Robert Paisley have a single second to their name after 2 crashes and 1 mechanical retirement. Nicholas Ryan has been the most consistent performer in the Production Car Championship and is 3rd on the overall points log. Keen leads the top S2000 class from the resurgent Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen, while Class A7 has been a JP Damso-dominated class, with Charles Wilkin claiming a single win. Schalk Burger is having the best season of his career, leading Class A6 at the halfway mark from Craig Trott. Michael Houghton and Etienne Malherbe are locked in battle for Class A5 honours. Nicholas Ryan leads Johnny Gemmell and Fernando Rueda in the top production car class. N3 is a closely contested class with Chris de Wit leading Mohamed Musa. Costa Kamantarakis has nearly wrapped up the N2 championship. As fans milled around chatting to their heroes, the championship leader had his strategy all mapped out.
It's a VW rally and a lot of expectation from the VW cars, but I think within that we have our own agenda, and we need to score points on this event for the championship, and I think continue with the momentum we've had all year. Although it's important for us to win the VW rally, it's more important to finish and to collect the points. So we're a 3-car team, and I'm sure we'd like to be 1, 2, 3 on the podium.
At the start area, it was a sign of things to come. Jannie Habig's arm was already taking strain, and he too was ready for war.
It's not been a very easy year for us, but you know, sometimes that's the way it goes, and I think the car feels good for this event. We've done quite a bit of testing. The guys have done a lot of work, and I think the reliability will be there. We've got a lot of support here from all the VW guys at the factory and in the surrounding areas, and yeah, we'd like to do well for them as well. If we can just get a good clean run and keep the momentum going, it'll be, yeah, we hope for a good event.
It was a torrid start to the season for Serge Damso, but he was hoping and planning for better results. To top that, he had a brand new and much lighter Toyota to his disposal.
We built a brand new car, and there's a lot of details went into it, and it's quite a big improvement on the weight of the car, and very happy that the car's good. The guys did a fantastic job. The finishing of the car is very nice. We've done a bit of testing. Unfortunately, we didn't have the right type of road for testing, but at least we gave it a good shakedown, and then we'll see on the rally how it goes.
On the stroke of 1 o'clock, the championship leader drove over the VW ramp at the Volkswagen Pavilion en route to stage 1. And that first stage was a short 1.48 kilometer high-speed abrasive tar stage in the industrial area of Uitenhage. Drivers know they can lose the rally in these spectator stages, but not win it. Enzo Keen eased his BP Volkswagen Polo off the line and down the long straight. He hit the curb, and if that were a steep piece of concrete, it could have spelt disaster. Marshals recorded the time, and it was a relatively pedestrian 1 minute and 6 seconds. Not all the hot action was in the stage, though. Serge Damsa was far more convincing through the stage and set what was to become the fastest time, even if it was only by a single second. Anybody ready for something to eat or drink? Jan Habeck put on a show for the legions of Volkswagen fans and matched Keen's time. Etienne Lawrence has bad memories of this stage, having retired here last year with a blown engine. The team total Toyota driver wasn't about to overstress the motor this time and set the 10th fastest time. But this time he stressed the suspension and the tyres just a little though. Ficken knows only one speed, flat out, and he sprinted to a time that matched Damso. Hello, when are the cars coming?
You know, the days of trying from, let's see what happens and we'll go faster tomorrow is long gone. We've got to go right from the very word go. So it's a sprint event from now. You know, even every one of these little Mickey Mouse 1 kilometer stages, you lose a second or two, and then, you know, to make them back, it's a nightmare. So, you know, Johnny is not going to wait for me, so it's going to be an almighty battle, I'm sure. PE has always been kind to us, so hopefully it'll be just as kind this year.
Fernando was certainly not waiting for Johnny and blasted his team total Mitsubishi through the stage. And this is what you call a bird's eye view. Johnny Gemmell was not intimidated by his rival but set a slowish 19th quickest time. Nicholas Ryan's Bosel Subaru Impreza was only 17th fastest. The heavier production cars take longer to slow, turn and set up than the S2000 machines, which is why their times were not nearly as quick. Visser Du Plessis had a point to prove after his first stage departure on the Zulu Rally, and he was 6th quickest through the stage. Charles Wilkin gave notice of his intent to lead Class A7, as did Marc Cronje in Class A6. Fisser du Plessis was the speediest production car, and that boosted his morale somewhat. Stage 2 was on very, very fast gravel just outside Uitenhage, with a hard surface and slippery coating, and there was a bit of water just to liven things up a bit as well. Keen found his car had awful oversteer and could only set the 5th fastest time. Damso was a whole lot faster than Keen, but it was Habich who had the hammer down the hardest. Etienne Laurens set the 4th fastest time, relieved to have escaped from his bogey stage. JP Damso and Charles Wilkin were hunkering down for a rally-long fight in Class A7, leading John Williams and the other Volkswagen Golfs in their wake. We'll be back with more Volkswagen Rally action right on Swift Eastern Cape, and more edge of your seat Volkswagen Rally action. Under heavily overcast skies, it was off to Triple L plant hire on the old Ford test track at 15 kilometers, the longest stage so far. Narrow, freshly graded roads with plenty of loose rock and a soft surface waited to snare the unwary. Keen was flying along in his BP Polo, hitting terminal speed down the kilometer-long straight, but was hampered by his handling problems in the twisty bits. Serge Damso pushed his new Castrol Toyota Runex to the 2nd fastest time, unfazed by a loose windscreen rubber. Jannie Habich was in a determined mood and added another 3 seconds to his lead. The prize for spectacle on this stage, though, went to Etienne Laurens, anxious to hang on to the leaders in spite of brewing mechanical trouble. Hergen Fecken was getting into his stride and holding on to the leader's coattails in the 3rd Polo. A tremendous drive was coming from Marc Cronje and Chris Birkin. The Castrol Toyota Runex was running away from all and sundry in Class A6. Craig Trott and John Costa, the defending class champions, were powerless to stop Cronje. Eugene Lawrence and Derek Jacobs had their own problems holding on to their Team Total teammate. Eugene is Etienne Lawrence's older brother. Stefan Wilken was still running in his new VW Polo, while Schalk Burger set a blistering time in his SB Invest Toyota Corolla. Burger Jr. is the son of the 2001 African Rally champion Schalk Burger Sr. Stage 4 was the first in the Longmoor Forest Complex, 35 kilometers west of Port Elizabeth. The burnt dead trees, clearly a sign of a ravaging fire that had gone through. A quick and fast 11-kilometer stage waited. The pace in the S2000 is frenetic to say the least, and also highly competitive. Keen, Damso and Habich remarkably all set an identical time of 5 minutes 39 seconds, so the status quo remained unchanged. Adding to the close fight, Lawrence and Fecken also set identical times. War had well and truly been declared. A resigned and calm Enzo Keane headed to service.
We're finding it quite difficult at the front. It's very loose. So we're not taking chances at this point, you know. For us, the championship's important. Etienne's fallen back already. I'm not sure what's wrong with his car. So I think Serge is trying hard to see where his car fits in. I think his car is more competitive. That's already showed. And he's obviously out to see where what he can do with it.
And nothing wrong with Enzo's ears. The Ronex didn't sound too healthy.
We could have been right out. We had a free plate problem in the clutch, caused it to slip, and then there was another stage which we had to then adjust it, and then there was too little clutch. So we ended up having to adjust that after that. But we lost 7 minutes. Lateness, 1 minute 10 seconds penalty. So now we're back on track again and back on form and up to pace again. So, but we lost a bit of time. Now we have to just keep the pressure on and no heroics and get to the end.
One person who was giving heroics a try was Fernando Rueda, the Spaniard trying hard to get to the front of the N4 battle. Ryan and Van Heerden were also trying exactly the same thing. Paul Pfeiffer put in a very convincing performance. And who were they trying to catch? This man, Johnny Gemmell, looking very relaxed behind the wheel of his Sassel Mitsubishi. It looked as if Gemmell and navigator Gerard Snyman would be untouchable. Phenomenal battle was developing in Class A7 with championship leader JP Damso trying awfully hard to catch the very determined Charles Wilkin, but it was all to no avail. JP found the pace was just too hot.
These rallies are like sprint rallies, these short hill rallies. They're like sprint rallies, so we have to go from the word go and from the Friday, and that's what we haven't done. It looks like everyone's stepped up their pace, and I don't know if we're going backwards or what, but I think it's time to wake up here and start going for it.
There's lots of work to do in the Trident Press VW camp.
Third gravel stage, we had a double caution on the right side and we lost the power steering. So that made it really tough for us. But I was determined that I'm not going to lose the time, because if we lose a minute, then we might as well go home tonight. So we hanged in there and we only lost 8 seconds, which is pretty good. So all that gym work's been paying off.
The team, though, took 13 minutes of service lateness and John Williams was livid. On the other side of the coin, it was all smiles in the Toyota team.
Look, we're pushing hard. I mean, we're all pushing hard, and you know, it's tight in A7, but so far it's looking good. The team has done a marvelous job on the car. The first few rallies we were struggling and we didn't know what the problem was, and we found a few things wrong, and I must say the car's superb. They did a fantastic job.
Stage 5 consisted of a short 8.8 kilometer fast-flowing forest road with a slippery surface, although the first cars through would soon sweep that away, leaving hard-packed road to play on. Keane was taking things easy, not that it looked like it here, and had to curb his instinct to try that little bit harder to catch the leaders. His strategy was to gather as many points as he could under the circumstances. Pictures that will make a rally purist's heart thump. Damso revelled in his new Castrol Toyota. After bouncing it off the scenery a couple of times, it was good to have a fresh car to challenge the VW Steamroller. But there was no stopping the confident Jannie Habig and Douglas Judd combination. When a car works, it works well, and Habig was a very contented man indeed. Ergen Fecken was under strict instructions just to bring the car home, which may have taken the edge slightly off his natural exuberance. Etienne Lawrence had his total Toyota back in one piece and was trying hard to make up for that huge service penalty. After 5 stages, Habig held on to his lead over Damso, but it was clear that the multiple champion preferred his new steed to the old.
We had to stick our neck out quite a lot to, just to be in touch with him, but we feel quite comfortable.
And we wanted to know, does Volkswagen have a home advantage?
It's not easy to keep up with him here in this area, and so far we're quite confident, and the car's behaving itself, and it's the improvement we made, and it did definitely help.
And the rally leader had a good look at what was going on underneath there when no one else could see.
There's a small exhaust leak, so the guys are just having a look at it to make sure it doesn't get any worse. We took a high-risk tyre, which is a little bit quicker, but the compound is softer and it's more susceptible to punches. So far we've been lucky, but we'll go into the more conservative option now.
How abrasive have the surfaces been, and what was the wear like?
The wear is not bad, with the four-wheel drive, there's not a lot of spinning, but obviously the punch is really the issue, and one's got to be very careful and try and keep straight lines and not sideways.
Spectators were always pointed in the right direction on this well-organized event. As the sun dipped behind the mountains, teams faced the longest stage of the rally at 22 kilometers. Conditions were very tricky, with the drivers rapidly having to adjust from bright sunshine to deep shadow and more bright sunlight. And here's a quick tip. Don't you try driving a twisty gravel road at 180 kilometers with only one hand. Conditions are atrocious as Lawrence battles to see through a dust and insect-splattered windscreen. It's easy to hit a rock or other obstacle, and concentrating on listening to the navigator's instructions is what it's all about. They're not just there for the ride, Keane set the second fastest time in spite of his vision problems. Lawrence matched the Polo's time. Damso lost a lot of ticks on the clock and dropped back from Habig, who could ease up ever so slightly. In Class N3, Rodney Fasahi, Mohamed Musa and Chris de Wit were all within a handful of seconds of each other. The men on the move, though, were Claudio Piazzamuso and Greg Hiraker in their Sassel Toyota Runex. The former world karting champion had a comparatively comfortable 12-second lead over the trio of identical team total Runexes. Take a breather, but we're right back after Volkswagen Rally 2006 continues. And I guess they won't be hitting it off the top of the lift tonight. 1.5 kilometers of Jeffreys Bay streets hosted stage 7, where the concrete curbs are omnipresent and downright car unfriendly. It's lights, lights, more lights, camera, and action. Thousands of people turned out to watch the surreal scene of cars racing down their streets. It's tricky at night and dangerous, as one mistake could spell disaster. Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aries, the men with the golden touch and with the least to lose, took the stage honours in spite of clipping a curb that wrinkled their suspension. So you still fancy yourself as a rally driver then, eh? Behind the wheel of Nicholas Ryan's Bosel's Subaru for a quick trip around J Bay. It's not as easy as it looks. The last stage of the day was the ever-popular Kings Beach stage back in Port Elizabeth. Just 990 meters in length and 17 instructions in the road book made for a busy time in the cockpit. It's easy to get lost in these so-called Mickey Mouse stages, and all the top runners favored discretion as the better part of valor, not to mention conserving their cars for a long second day still ahead. Characteristic staccato machine gun fire from Gemmel's Mitsubishi and sideways antics of Etienne Lawrence was enough to have the spectators screaming for more.
Etienne Lawrence a little bit out of kilter. Very good stuff, man. Give it a big hand. Just wave it in his view, even better.
Busy day at the office, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd were the class of the field with a 29-second lead over Serge Damso and Robert Paisley. Enzo Keane had not set a single fastest stage time so far and was in a solid and safe third ahead of Mr. Production Cars, Johnny Gemmell. Charles Wilkin hung on to the Class A7 lead, with Mark Cronje having a quiet afternoon. Gugu Zulu was walking off with Class A5, and Piazza Musa was top in Class N3. Saturday dawned bright and sunny with clear skies and warmer weather in the prospect. With an early 6:40 start, it was straight back into the thick of things with a repeat of the 11.3 kilometer Jachtvlakte stage near Uitenhage. Out of the sun like a kamikaze pilot, Johnny Gemmell was quickly up to speed. Etienne Lawrence shaded Gemmell to the second. Keane had a more subdued start to his day though. Damso was the man on the move and on his own mission to close down the gap to Habig. Nicholas Ryan and Visser du Plessis were tied for the 10th fastest time. And after day one, the Volkswagen Rally had already claimed 8 victims. Fernando Rueda and Martin Botha retired their team total Mitsubishi Lancer after stage 6 with a broken gearbox. Rueda's brother-in-law Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding met a solid concrete curb in Jeffries. Barry Grobler and Mike Barrows shared the same fate. With spectators wrapped up against the early morning chill, stage 10 was a repeat of the Triple L Ford stage. The surface was by now well and truly churned up. Enzo Keane tells us about his early dramas.
Seem to have a lot of drive to the back wheel, so it's like driving a car from the from the 70s, you know. We're all over the road and the tail's hanging out off the cliff. We just drop the car at the back now, trying to just cap the problem and soften the suspension. And I think that's, you know, we're quite happy that we don't have to win this rally. My teammate has to win it because it's a VW rally and we need the points. So it's nothing we can really change right now. We're just mitigating the damage.
Etienne Lawrence was well into the groove early on, as was Jannie Habig in his BP Polo. His big battle with Serge was being watched with interest. Fecken, meanwhile, battled to find gears in the Polo, and it left him off the pace. Nicholas Ryan was the top production car runner to take the fight to Johnny Gemmell. Fisser du Plessis' creepy-crawly Subaru Impreza WRX was still nearly 20 seconds off Ryan's pace. Sali de Toy gave a good account of himself and was pushing hard, but he was also a bit slower than Ryan. Gemmell was the star of the N4 runners, untroubled at the front and not likely to be caught. The bulk of Saturday's action took place in the Longmoor Forest, with 3 repeated stages from Friday. The 11-kilometre Culturama stage was first up, with much of the gravel already swept away. The surface offered much more grip and promised to be a lot faster. Ergen Fecken was lucky to be in the rally after bending his suspension in town the previous night and was quite circumspect. Lawrence was trying hard to make up that service penalty. And Enzo was happy to hold station in third and pick up his 19 points. Habig was coming under increasing pressure, but responded by beating the Toyota pair by 4 seconds. Adrian Koth was holding down 4th in Class A7 in his Net Connect VW Golf. John and Doug Williams were making up ground hand over fist. Charles Wilken was still very much in the class lead, but lost time to JP Damso. As Gemmell's Sassel Mitsubishi scampered off into the distance, it was left to Nicholas Ryan to give chase. For a ringside seat, coming to the Subaru cockpit to watch Nicholas at work. Longmoor is the type of forest where you only drive as far as you can see, for there are many hidden twists and turns. Ryan was realistic about his chances of catching his rival up front.
I think we've adopted just a finish to the end attitude today. P Rally's always been tough on me. It's always been rough on the crew, and Johnny's doing fantastic times. I'm not going to catch him. I won't be able to catch him. Instead of me trying to be a hero to catch anybody ahead of me for any reason, I'd rather just stay on the road now. don't damage the car and get to the end.
Indeed, bringing the car home is how championships are won. Stage 12 was a repeat of Stage 5 and just 8.8 kilometers long, but had more than enough trickery to catch out some very fancy drivers. Lawrence pushed his team totals Toyota Runex to the limit and sometimes beyond as he tried to catch the leaders after his clutch problems on day one. Keane was again a little more circumspect with his car's suspect handling, preferring to give away time but to keep it on the road. Damso and Paisley were hell-bent on taking the fight to Habbich and Judd, but in this stage, they gave away another 3 seconds. Habbich's lead was back to 23 ticks of the clock.
It's quite a hard fight in the front there. Yanni's going very quickly and we're trying to take a bit of time back, but we lost our sum guard on the previous stage, so the stage 12 we would do it without a sum guard, so we will see. The day's still a long time.
Yanni took the pressure in his stride.
Pace is quite hectic. Got a couple of small gremlins that's sort of just small puncher, sticky throttle and so on. It's holding our progress back a bit, but at least we're still holding the station. And but it's quite hectic.
Hergen Fecken was having a bad day behind the wheel and had used up virtually all of the car.
The gearbox is broken, first gear is gone, and the clutch is also gone. So we have to start in second gear, and the starter doesn't want to go anymore, so we're almost out of options. We're going to have to change the gearbox in this service block.
And to top it all, the BP Volkswagen team had just 20 minutes to refettle the battle-weary Polo. While navigator Pierre Arries calculated the time loss and its effect on their position, the VW squad really earned their money. Fecken was anxious as the lateness mounted and time penalties kicked in at the rate of 10 seconds for every minute the team was overdue. In the end, it was a miracle. They eventually took almost 3 minutes of lateness penalties. At least they were going somewhere, because that's Sali Detroit's team total Subaru, and it was well and truly stuck. After the stage was completed, the service team battled to free the stricken car. And after a tug-of-rope war, we wanted to know, how did it happen?
We were discussing the flying finish already. I mean, we're basically out of the stage. And we've already gone past the last instruction. And I said to Sali, just go for it, because we're going to need the flying finish now and we're going to have a super time here. And yeah, unfortunately, we're a bit too fast, too quick.
It's difficult to read the roads over here because it looks like the corner is going to open up, but then next moment it tightens and into another corner, and we carried into this corner here for fourth gear flat. And way too fast for the corner here, and we went off.
No kidding. The overworked team eventually got the car out, and it was frustratingly undamaged, but they were time barred and had to head for home. In the smallest modified class, Etienne Malherbe and Henny Boertes were nearly 2 minutes behind their toughest rival. Michael Houghton and Brent Doherty tried everything they could to take the class lead. It was Gugu Zulu and Rikus Ferri who held sway in A5, 40 seconds clear of the leading Taz. The fast sweeping road suited the bigger engine BP Chico. Join us again. The 22-kilometer long PPC stage was a repeat of Friday's stage 6. Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen were still in maximum attack mode. The number 2 ranked driver tackles the twisty bits with fervor. But too much, and the brakes in an S2000 car deliver awesome stopping power, but that was going to cost a lot of time. Undeterred, he's right back on the Runex's very loud pedal. sit back and enjoy Lawrence in this ultra high-speed section. Relentless. Gemmell was still churning out super fast times to hang on to 4th overall. And Habich also had the accelerator firmly wedged to the floorboard. But Damso's floorboard must have been deeper, for he clawed back 5 seconds and won the stage. Williams hauled his way back to 3rd overall in A7. After 12 stages, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godridge had built up a good 20-second lead, but were gobsmacked to find it was gone in one fell swoop after special stage 13.
We're having a big battle out there, and seems like with 2 gravel stages to go, JP's gone in the lead by 2 seconds. So, yeah, we're on the limit, and yeah, we can only go as quick as we can, and we'll have to see. We're going to have to try and go a little bit quicker, but like you said, I'm going as quickly as we can, so I don't know if there's any reserve.
Charles set a superb time 34 seconds faster than his first run over stage 6. JP was in scintillating form too, beating his own time by 45 seconds from the previous day. The results show it. JP had a 2-second lead after taking 22 seconds off Charles in 22 kilometers.
We should have started this morning, but we had a good clean run now at this stage. Put up a good time, so we've got a 25k coming up now, and then a 20, and that's it. So I have to push hard in these last 2.
45 kilometers of gravel stages and flat-out rallying were left to cling on to that lead. Stage 14, the penultimate gravel stage, fearsomely fast and a roller coaster ride of note. Lawrence set the 5th fastest time and remained in his position. Enzo was still happy just to hold station. Damso launched one more final attack to see if Habich would crack. But he didn't give an inch. In fact, it was the opposite. He added another 5 seconds to his lead. Stefan Wilkin was learning all about A6 rallying, Volkswagen Polo style. Richard and Natasha Vaughan were nearing the end of their last national rally before retiring. And Eugene Lawrence was causing some consternation in the service park. That's one very second-hand Toyota conquest. Eugene rolled his team total machine after the flying finish in stage 12 earlier in the day, and the crew spent every available second patching up the car to get it to the finish. Goggles and duct tape were the order of the day for Lawrence and Jacobs as they soldiered on. Skalkberger and Wimpy van Grienen led their Class A6 championship coming into the Volkswagen Rally and were set to claim more points in their SB Invest Toyota Corolla. Or not, as the case was. In fact, he parked the car, but not quite the way that it should be parked.
I think I read it as a straight, and as I came up and I came around, saw it turning and just too fast. Couldn't get it to brake, and it just slid. And it slid right into the embankment and just turned onto its side. And that's it. End of the game.
6 love, we figure. Craig Trott and John Costa were peddling their team total Toyota as hard as they could. But it was not enough to catch the latest generation A6 car as Mark Grenier kept his Castrol Toyota firmly in front. Everything was going right as they led the way.
I'm just trying to keep it nice and clean and tidy. We've got some small hindering problems that we're carrying at the moment, but it doesn't seem to be affecting our times too much. So I'm just going to carry on and get it to the end and have a nice clean run. The stages today have been unbelievably fast and awesome, and it's really, really awesome to drive.
And it was clear Cronje was really enjoying every millimetre of the rally. Stage 15 was the last one on dirt, and then we would finally leave the Longmoor Forest, heading to Port Elizabeth. Everyone had an eye on reaching the finishing ramp, and there were no heroics from anyone. The top 7 runners all held station, while Habich claimed his 10th fastest stage time. Eventually got the creepy crawly Impreza up to speed as Ryan settled on bringing his Subaru home in the points to retain his production car lead. Gemmell was beyond anyone's reach and just had to get to the finish to claim the production car and Class N4 win. When things go his way, he makes it look oh so easy. A7, Koth was steaming to the finish in his Net Connect Golf. Wilken was stung into action and fought for all he was worth to get his lead back. The Castrol Runex was right on the edge as Charles flung the car through the last few corners. Would it be enough to retake the lead though? JP was equal to the task and beat Wilken by a slender second. The penultimate stage was a 7-kilometre tar affair through an undeveloped piece of Port Elizabeth real estate. The danger of curbs and traffic circles was back, and a sting in the tail was always a possibility. What traffic circle was that, Andre? Enzo was next. Watch the traffic circle, Guy.
Look at the circle!
Robert, I thought you said there was a traffic circle. Come on, Douglas. I didn't see the traffic circle either. Pierre, you must be in the wrong place on the notes. There's no traffic circle. And after going round in circles, Claudio Piazzamuso was about to find out how cruel rallying could be. When our cameras had got to their stricken car, the navigator, Greg Hurica, was looking for a telephone number. We figure it was probably the chief mechanic's number. So what really happened?
We had a problem with the clutch. We lost a minute in the one stage, so we went from leading by 30 seconds to second by 25 seconds. We still got the clutch problem, but we're just synchronizing the gears to battle every now and then, don't get them. But we still managed to take time off Chris. So we caught him, eventually 3 seconds behind him. Came into this stage here. We're already losing time halfway through the stage. We got a signal we were 2 seconds down because we couldn't use first gear. We can't get into first gear. And now we came around the corner here and the crown wheel and pinion just let go.
S2000 cars have grabbed attention lately.
The homologation is next month for both of us. And the customers are already knocking on the door. Hans is here from Belgium, the young engineer. He'll be building the car. That's the first car that we'll be doing. And then there are cars for the other countries. And we'll just take it as one at a time because obviously the rally program takes priority right now. And as we are trying to win the championship again.
There was also a lot of overseas interest.
I'm here with a team from Italy team Grifone to have a look at the Super 2000 cars and see how they work and trying to bring them into Europe. I must say what I've seen here, I'm very, very positively surprised. They sound right. I think they give the spectators some feeling of excitement and so on.
The ever-popular Kings Beach Sprint was the final goodbye for the thousands of spectators who followed the rally to the forests and back again. But this was not the time to put the car on its roof, and Jannie managed some low-speed spectacle though.
It's always nice to win your own event, especially if you're the main sponsor, and you know, there's always this jinx about the main sponsors not winning their own events, but this year it worked and it was great.
We had to have a finish, and that was always in the back of my mind, you know, so unfortunately we couldn't do it this time, but the car behaved itself and the car's good, so you know, we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
Nothing like cold champagne to wash away the dust after a long and hard day in the forests. The bubbly flowed freely as Habig celebrated Volkswagen's 8th consecutive win. And a fine victory is confirmed at the top. JP Damso hung on to Class A7, while Cronje routed A6, as did Gugu Zulu in Class A5. Chris de Wit got his 4th class win of the year, and Mike Nathan survived to take the N2 honours. Join us again next month for highlights of the Osram Rally. Until then, goodbye from Top Car and the 2006